How's it going, everyone? All about fishing with Big Kev. Hey, we're down here in the fishing room this morning. Get tackle boxes ready for the boat. We got a bad habit of getting tackle out when I'm out on my boat fishing and goofing off, and just throwing it in a pile. And next thing you know, I got big piles of stuff, and then I got these tackle sleeves, and I label them. They sit in these, I don't know if you guys can see them underneath here, these clear things. They sit like this in those clear things right there, and then they go in my boat, in my storage. So I label them so I can just grab a sleeve, and then I get a bad habit of not putting sleeves back. Or I make another sleeve, and then I got 4 or 5 sleeves of the same stuff. So last summer, I'm a big fan of H&H spinners. You guys see a lot of my videos with H&H, and they come with several colors, but white on white seems to be doing the big job. So I ran out of white and white, and I've got to replenish it. I was teaching the grandson and a few others how to throw into the rocks for white bass, and I think one fishing trip we went through 30 of these before they got the hang of not catching rocks and catching bass. But that's how you learn, right? So I pulled them off my board over here. I like to pre-rig everything before I get out there. That way, A, I don't have the trash on the boat, and B, they're ready to go. But I thought I'd show you why I'm building these lures, the H&H. When you open these up, you get a hook. It's a dual hook and a lure. And you've got to put your hook on the lure. On the back end of the skirt is a loop. I like to run my hooks up. So you've got to hit that loop with your hook. And get it in there. So it's like that. So got to get, these are 3/8 ounce H&H white and white. I get them directly from H&H. I usually get about 50 to 100 at a time, different colors. Like I said, it's been a really good lure for the last couple of years, catching white bass, crappie, wiper when they're up on the rocks, the wind-blown rocks. Fish a lot of rocks, rock banks, jetties, things like that in the summer. When that wind's blowing them bait fish into the bank, tossing these white H&H spinners up there, and just having a heyday. And on H&H website, I think they're somewhere around $275, something like that, for a lure. Again, these are 3/8 ounce, and these are the single blade. They also have a dual blade. And then, I don't know if I got any, but they make a willow blade one. I don't see any in here. But they make a willow blade as well. And of course, your blades, when you use, the different blades, make less or more vibration in the water, travel deeper or shallower, depending on which blade you want to use. Willow blade being the heaviest of the blades. But I've been using these single blade, 3/8 ounce. Seem to be doing the trick. But they all have their purpose, right? So you can see why pre-build these out of the boat. It sure saves a lot of trash from possibly blowing into the water and clean up later. Now, we'll tell you, H&H also sells, I don't know if I've got any up here or not. H&H also sells a box of these hooks. Yeah. You can buy just the hooks. I think there's 5 in a box. I always have extras on the boat, just in case you lose one or one comes out. And they have a tendency sometimes to do that. After 20, 30 white bass, your hooks get a little more spread. Eventually, one time you'll unhook a small one or something, and you'll leave the hook in its mouth, not knowing it. Throw the fish back, and then you're fishing along, and you're wondering why you're not getting a hook set. Then you realize you don't have a hook on your lure. It's happened a few times, but like I said, I really love these lures. Got the grandkids hooked on it, and they're doing real well with them as well. But the other box I'm going to build, and I'll show you here in a minute. I currently have it scattered everywhere. Is I use Whisker Seeker products as well, and Whisker Seeker I use for drifting. Mainly blues and walleye mainly in blues, but you will catch whites, you'll catch a ton of drum, and you catch channel cat, wiper love them. But I'll show you what I use here in a sec. I got this last one to put together. But there. So now my H&H's are all put back together and ready to roll. So like I said, I don't have a sleeve for what I'm setting up next. So I'm going to make this, what do I want to call this? Terminal tackle for drifting or something like that. I got this little printer I bought. No, I got it a couple years ago. I don't know if the batteries are good in it or not. Yep. But so I'm going to call this terminal tackle. And I'll label this tray, and then I can put it in my I can put it in my containers down there as well as a new tray. Funny thing about tackle, guys, if you're a boat owner, you'll know what I'm talking about, is I carry, well, I don't know, there's probably 25 or 30 of these trays in the boat. Because on my Lund, I have drawers under my console, and they're full of trays as well. But by God, it seems like I'm always grabbing the same 4 or 5 trays. I never grab any of the others. And I don't know why. I guess I'm so used to using the same thing over and over and over and over. And we seem to use what works. even though we own everything under the sun. And I'm going to have a heck of a time getting this decal off. But, oh, it's split in the back. That's why I'm having problems. But anyway, for some reason, we always grab the same 3 or 4 or 5 tackle sleeves. And so there, that's terminal tackle box. So what I use on this, and I'm pretty religious on this too, sometimes we vary a little bit, but I use 2 products, Whisker Seeker products, and then I buy these 3/0 floating styrofoam type 3/0 hooks. And I get these from Walleye Supply. And I use these with a lot of times just worms, putting a worm on and drifting. But as you can see, they come in about every color under the sun, blues and greens, and here's pink, black and white. So I'm going to go ahead and create a box that contains these. I'm not so worried about keeping the colors separated. I'm more worried about just getting everything together in one tray. And what I mean by everything together, I use these, and then I use a bead, a Whisker Seeker bead, and I'll explain what that does. I might even have one set up over here. Let me look. But I put that bead on there as a knot protection for my slip. I use these Whisker Seeker sliders for weights. A buddy of mine, avid blue cat fisherman, got me set up with this stuff, and I really love it. I took him out and he showed me all this stuff, and we had a deal worked out. So I took him fishing one day, and then I got him so hooked on London boats, he went and bought him one. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we use these Whisker Seeker products and these Walleye Supply. It's out of Fargo, North Dakota. It's 3/0 foam hook. And like I said, we drift worms with them. I guess you could put a shad on it if you wanted. They come in pairs. I forget what they cost, $3 or $4 a pair. Walleye Supply has been really, really good about getting their product out to me. Again, Whisker Seeker beads. They come in different colors. Here's the green ones. And then again, the slip weight holder. And then I use the Whisker Seeker. These are the number 6 ball bearing swivel. I'll tell you, you got to use a swivel out there because stuff just gets wound up. But these are the heavy duty swivels. So I use those. And then again, the Whisker Seeker weight slides. I'll show you here. I think I got one over here on my bench. I'll show you how that works. So Here's one that I pulled off a pole. But anyway, you run your swivel. Here's your leader with your hook. So you run your swivel, and then you've got that bead protecting that knot. If I had a longer line, I'd show you, but then, ooh, I got a glass desk and just about did it. This slides up and down with the weight, and that bead protects the knot that's on that swivel, because this is constantly hammering on that knot. So that bead, and then it acts as a kind of an attractant as well. But then again, these slip holders. So that's what those do. And then what's nice about these slides, those of you that drift fish will know, is it has the thing on here. So, you know, if you're drifting and you put a weight on and you're not down at the bottom, your wind speed's too much, you know, you either have to throw a drift sock out or get your bait down farther, which requires more weight. Well, these make it so easy to just snap on more weight. And then it also helps with the swivel, so you can keep from twisting your line, because this is going to sit there and just roll these hooks. But these are, that's kind of how it's set up. The I'm trying to find something to cut with, but that's how I set up my drifting rods, is with that. So that's what I'm building here with this terminal tackle. And I've been using almost all the time 1 ounce worth of weight just to get it down, because Kansas, we have so much wind in Kansas. And so again, the swivels, or these heavy duty swivels, are really a good product. You can get these on Amazon too. Everybody makes them. You can get, I just ordered I think 200 of these swivels. So like I said, I'm just trying to get things stocked up for next year. Makes different sizes. Of course, they're just like everything else. They're geared for a certain weight of fish. So anyway, and then I got these 1 ounce weights. Yeah, it's a full-time job trying to keep all this stuff organized. When you just start tossing stuff around. So now I've got everything in that box that I need to set up for a drift. All I need is fishing string and a worm. And so that's two boxes that we've got set up. I've got my reels all re-spooled up with new line. I just put these rod racks up on the ceiling. You guys will see the video on that. But I got my rods cleaned up, the tips all checked, eyes checked. Something I do with poles. I'm kind of OCD about poles, but take a cotton ball and run it through your eyes on your rod, and that'll allow you to, if you've got a chip in your eye or a piece of the guide that's cracked or flaked out that's catching your line, you run a cotton ball through there, like a makeup cotton ball, just a little cotton ball, run a piece of cotton through there. If there's a snag in that eye, it'll snag that cotton and show you where it's at. It's a little tedious work, but it's just a little trick that I learned way back. brother-in-law that just passed away actually showed me that trick. So anyway, all about fishing with Big Kev. Hey, hope you guys enjoy your weekend. It's December. Christmas is coming. We got all the family coming here this Christmas, which is really cool. We got 10 grandkids, and they're all excited and really enjoyed giving them gifts and watching their smiles on their faces. So appreciate you checking in. Just wanted to go live this morning a little while and show you what I'm working on and show you how I do things, kind of explain a couple things. And we'll do this periodically, and maybe somebody will learn some tricks, or maybe, I might be doing it completely wrong. I don't know, but I've got a little system I worked out. It seems to be working for me. Hey, all about fishing with Big Kev. Like and subscribe. Appreciate everybody watching. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you soon on the water.